Yeah, that's pretty. Focused. I'm gonna flip. Yeah. See, mine looks cute, right?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I'm gonna move it a little more.
Okay.
All right, we need to do a thumbnail real fast.
What?
Okay, hold on. Welcome to the YouTube live. We make thumbnails now, babe.
I don't know the agenda.
All right, welcome to the baby channel. Thank you so much for clicking this video. You are in our bedroom with us. My husband, Kenny Shupello.
When I get in front of a camera, I freeze. So
Yeah, so
just bear with me.
He's very shy. Really, in real life, he's like really goofy.
I'm not shy when it comes to business and things that I'm passionate about, but you throw a camera on me, I feel like there's 10,000 people behind this camera, even though there's literally a dog.
So
Facing my fears.
So this is like a get to know Kenny, because I haven't like really like introduced him yet to the channel, and I need to get this video onto the channel so I can move on, because he's gonna be in a lot of my videos throughout my YouTube life. Okay, so here he is. This is my husband. Let's start.
You want me to explain?
Let's start with how we met. Let's start with, no. Let's start before we met. Let's start with like why you moved to Nashville, where you're from, all that stuff.
Okay. Are you sure?
Yeah.
All right. Well, I am from Florida. I'm in a town called Ormond Beach, and my family is from Canada. Well, my dad was born in New York, moved to Canada, met my mother. The second they got married, they moved to Florida because they both do not like the cold. So they came to a small town right outside of Daytona Beach called Ormond Beach. And that is where they had me. When I turned 3 years old, my dad thought it'd be smart to bring me to my first hockey game. Being that they're both from the north, they thought maybe hockey is something I'd like. Went to my first hockey game and cried my eyes out, hated it. And then brought me to another one, ended up loving it. Started playing when I was 4 years old. And that took me through my life until about 16 years old. Now going into college, I tried college for about a year and figured out that it was not my calling. Teachers telling me what to do after grade school was not something I wanted to endure.
Kenny's Kenny's the personality type that's very much like me. We hate being micromanaged, and we hate being told what to do. So hence we have like really strong entrepreneurial mindsets. And that's kind of like how we function, I feel like, in our jobs.
And coming up with ideas, you can ask Paige. I come up with a new invention or idea just about every single day. And I think you throw enough paint at the wall, something's gonna stick. Well, not paint. That's not it.
Darts?
No, you throw enough something at the wall, it might stick.
Pancakes?
Pancakes. If you throw enough pancakes at the wall, one bound will stick. Oh yeah, college. Okay, so I tried college out for a year. I didn't like reading. I didn't like writing things. I didn't like learning about stuff that I wouldn't use in the real world. They don't teach you how to become rich and become a good husband and become more close to God. So for me, it wasn't something that I was interested in. So that being said, I pretended I was going to college. My parents didn't know that. So wanted to do something that got my adrenaline going, because I was an adrenaline junkie back in my early 20s. I had to be physically fit to do something that was challenging, that was helpful to the community. So I became a fireman. Did that for a few years. A friend of mine asked me to join a casting call for a TV show called Gainesville. Unfortunately said yes, and became a small town celebrity that got paid $500 to go to bars and drink on a free tap. And that was my life for about 2 years, until people forgot who I was. And then I decided to pick up any job I could, and that led me into being a salesman. Being a salesman that's the perfect job for me. And I went down the rabbit hole of sales and met a friend through a friend that brought me to Savannah, Georgia when I was in my mid-20s. that is when music for me really started to kind of take off, because I had enough funds to be able to buy a new guitar. I had more time on my hands to be able to learn songs, and before I knew it, 2016, I was actually getting paid to sing, which was pretty cool.
He was also singing and playing guitar on the TV show Gainesville.
A little bit.
So it wasn't just like you moved to Savannah all of a sudden.
No.
You found a passion in music. I feel like you've always been passionate about music.
Yeah, I started playing guitar when I was 12. And my dad plays piano, he sings, and he plays guitar. So I grew up musically gifted in that sense, where I had it at my fingertips. So I just had to pick up the guitar, and it kind of came natural to me. I can't bust out a solo or anything cool like that, but I can hear songs on the radio, and I can literally mimic it on the guitar. I realized that, when you're getting into your late 20s, you either chase a dream now, or you be content and comfortable with where you're at, and you don't make it anywhere. So I took a risk, moved to Nashville in October of 2019, which you could tell is bad timing for a starving musician to move to a town where COVID destroyed in March of 2020. So I had about 6 months to make a name for myself. Obviously, that's not enough time. This is a 10-year town. And decided that, I liked money and needed more money. So I got back into sales, and probably in April, I started stalking her on Instagram. And
no, it was back in when he moved here. It was back in fall.
Oh, okay. So I guess right when I first moved here.
That's when you found me on Instagram.
Yeah.
But you didn't message me until April of 2020.
Yeah, I used to like her pictures and, do enough to where I wasn't creepy.
Because you found that one picture of me on your Explore page.
It's probably around November.
Yeah, because that picture of me was taken.
No, it was probably February.
No, because we did that music video before February. We did that music video a long time ago.
Well, nonetheless, I would like her pictures, message her for months before we actually met in person. And do you want me to go into that?
Yeah. First of all, he wants to show you his outfit.
Do I?
He literally told me before this. Okay, let me just say, for Christmas, I asked him, "Hey Kenny, would you want Crocs for Christmas?" And he said no, but I know him better than he thinks that I know him, and so I got him Crocs, and he wears those things literally every single day.
I ran in them this morning.
He loves his Crocs. He wanted to show you his Crocs. He told me before video that he wanted to wear these Crocs for the video. Anyways, loosen up.
Am I not doing good?
This is not an interview.
Well,
let me tell you, from my perspective, our story, and then he can tell you from his perspective, because obviously we were living two different lives before they crossed paths. And so where I was when I met him, I had just moved out of a boyfriend's house, and that I was only dating this guy for 6 months.
From another boyfriend, or from an ex-fiance? From
an ex-fiance, yes. I was previously engaged. We broke up, and then 9 months later, I started dating this other guy. We only dated for 6 months, but I lived with him also. I lived with both guys. And
Not at the same time.
Not at the same time, obviously. He started following me October and November of 2019, and that's when me and my last boyfriend broke up. So he never pursued me because he thought I was still dating somebody. That's what I assumed. Because he started following me, and clearly on my Instagram I had photos of me and this other guy. But then when I took all those photos down, and I finally moved into my own place for the first time in forever, being alone on my own. And then COVID hit, and I was just during the pandemic, not in the mindset to date or look around. I was finally alone and on my own and living on my own, and just me, my dog, and my cat. And I just wanted to focus on me mentally, spiritually, emotionally, while my career was on hold because of the pandemic. And then he started messaging me on Instagram, and in April of 2020, so just like a month into the pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, he wasn't like creepy though. Like, you know how you get like, you get some of the same guys that like message you over and over.
Chads.
Yeah, and they're just like, they're either creepy or they're like douchey. But he didn't give me any of those vibes. But I just wasn't mentally like wanting a relationship. So I didn't like blow him off completely. I kind of put him on the back of my mind, but would like double tap his messages. And the gym started opening back up in Nashville, and the first gym to open up was Gold's in Hendersonville, and I posted on my story that I was going to Gold's, and lo and behold, this man shows up like 30 minutes later at the gym. I love you.
Coincidence.
And I knew it was him. I saw him. I was on the leg extension machine, which faced the front door. And he came walking into the gym with his gym bag. And there was like a sign on the front door that said, not allowed to bring in gym bags. He walks in with his gym bag. And I'm like, oh my gosh, 1, that's him. 2, he's going to have to turn around and put that gym bag back in his truck or car. I didn't know what he drove then. And sure enough, he turned around, he came back in, and I was just kind of like putting my hat low, trying not to make eye contact, trying not to like let him know that I know he's there.
Which, by the way, I didn't find out a year after we were dating that she actually knew I was there. So everyone that I told this story to, within the first year that we were dating, I didn't know she knew I was there.
I know, because we didn't talk about this until like later on, and he was like, you knew I was there? I was like, yes, I did. So then, at this time, I'm like, during the pandemic, I'm working at a coffee shop called Frothy Monkey in the Nations. There's like 6 locations. I was working at the Nations location. My actual like gym that I went to regularly opened up. So I went to that gym, and I was like, I'm gonna hit legs. I went on the squat rack. I did like 1 squat with like barely any weight on the bar, and I tweaked my back. And I was like, of course this happens like the day the gym opens back up. So I posted that on my story, and he responded to my story like he does. I just love you so much. And he was like, do we have a, where's the massage?
It's all the way upstairs.
Oh, man. He was like, I have a percussion muscle massager that you can borrow until your back gets better. So in my mind, I was thinking, oh man, now I have to meet this guy in person, but I really want to get my back better. So I'm just going to meet this guy. And so I told him to meet me at Frothy Monkey at the end of my shift, and we'll meet up. Mind you, I was not prepared to like this man. I was not prepared to find him attractive. Like, I was not prepared for him to be so sweet and so genuine and so authentic and so
awkward, and he had a little mullet and he had his dog, and I was like, okay. So I didn't wear any makeup to work that day. I was kind of not wearing the cutest outfit because, I mean, it's during the pandemic. We were working outside. All the dining areas were closed. So I was sweating my butt off all day with a mask on. And he sent me a text and he says, I'm here. I'm parked out front. So I go out front and he's like outside. And I'm like, oh, like literally my heart sunk into the bottom of my stomach. And I was like, oh God, he's really cute. God dang it. I'm like, of course this is happening to me right now. So I kept my mask on the entire time we were talking because I was like low-key embarrassed and like I was very like smitten, and I just thought he was so sweet and so cute, and I was just like, oh my gosh. I knew instantly, like I didn't get any
douchebag vibes. Like he was trying to like be somebody that he wasn't, or he was just trying to impress me. Like he was like, what you see is what you get kind of vibes. And I loved that. So he asked me a favor if in return for helping me with my back, he was like, I would love to take you out on a date. So I was like, okay, definitely. We go on a date. What were you doing? What were you thinking the first day we met at Frothy Monkey?
I remember being super nervous. And when I get nervous, I just get kind of like Chandler does in Friends when he tries to smile for a portrait, just kind of. And I just knew that if I kind of just stayed busy, that I would not show that I was nervous. So I was constantly like, oh, check out my dog. Look what my dog can do. He can do these tricks.
He was doing that.
And then I would like grab the percussion massager and I was like showing her how to use it. And I was like almost like not wanting to leave, but I like wanted to leave because I was like, I'm running out of things to say. So she's going to start seeing that I'm like nervous. So like, what do I do? So I was like, hey, I was like, so if, since you want to owe me a favor now, would you like to go on a date with me? Kind of not smooth whatsoever, definitely rusty. It was a rough one because I had one shot, you know. Eminem said it best. We went on our first date, and the funny thing was I mean, every dollar I had was to put into my gas tank. So I actually had to borrow money from my mother.
Yeah, because he wasn't in sales at this time.
Yeah, I was still trying to do music.
He moved to Nashville for music. So obviously during the pandemic, music wasn't doing anything. So like he wasn't making. Did you take the unemployment checks?
Yeah, I had to. A couple months behind in rent. And I mean, I had probably
almost lost your truck.
Being 2 months behind in rent, they were gonna kick me out of my place because it's like before like the government started protecting you from that. Yeah, our first date was at 404 Kitchen in a Gulch, and I asked.
Finally, I got a chance to like, you know, do it up.
Yeah,
I was like, okay, so I have like a second chance to like redeem myself here.
Yeah, she was wearing a tight skirt and her butt is huge, so you can put two and two together. Life was good, but I was outside. She said, "Hey, I'll be down in just a second." It took like 25 minutes, and I was sitting outside, literally sweats going down my crack.
Was it our first date that you had like an emergency restroom?
We're going that deep?
Yeah.
No, it wasn't my first. It wasn't our first date, but it was definitely like that was the time I think I burnt my mouth on a tomato sandwich.
Was it the same night?
Something like that. I know about Paige before we even went on our first date was that she loves her dog more than anything else in the world. So instead of getting her like flowers, I got her 2 dog toys.
Murphy still has one of them.
And Murphy still has one of them that we named Rudy, and he still plays with Rudy every once in a while. He's very gentle with it, which is very weird because he destroys all of his other toys.
He has 2 toys that he won't destroy, and I think he has like an emotional attachment to them.
Yeah. So we went on our date. I texted my mom. I was like, hey, I'm going out with like probably my future wife. I need $100. Oh. I had to bring out the stops with no money. So I literally like got my truck cleaned up. I got a couple dog toys for her dog. Made sure that I was outside the car door, not sitting in it. If you're going to take a girl out for your first time, like get out of the truck, like welcome, like open the door for her, like show her that you actually care and like want to be around her versus like, hey, this is like my Netflix and chill night. Like be respectful. Like chivalry is not dead. So just a little sidebar there. Like, I mean, you could see like her and I will go on a date and like guys are just like walking in front of their woman, like, but like you can walk in front of your woman, but it needs to be in like a protective manner versus like just like on your phone texting while your girl's like getting trampled on behind, you know? And okay, fast forward to our first date. Asked for $100 to my mom. She sent it to me because she obviously wants me to be married and have kids. So, well, we sat down, we ordered a drink, and then she started ordering appetizers. And I mean, she's 120 pounds. I didn't know this woman would like eat as much as she did. She ordered 2 or 3 appetizers. She ordered a full salad, like didn't even share the salad, like didn't go like, hey, let's split a salad. She's like, oh, you should get one too. And she ordered appetizers. She ordered her salad. She ordered a full entree and dessert. And I literally like knew the bill was over $100, and I had the $100 that my mother gave me. So I literally had to go to the bathroom and text my mom and ask for another $100. So finally get through there. My card went through, got approved. We've all been there. We always just, we pray to make sure that comes back approved, not denied. So after that, we walked to a local bar down the street, had a couple more drinks, and
let me see if I can find that picture of us.
Yeah, and then we took a picture to send to my mom, and it was kind of...
Our very first picture ever, this selfie. I remember, here it is, on our first date, he was like, can we take a picture together to send to my mom? This is what he said to me on our very first date. So I already knew that he was talking to his mom about me. So I was like, okay.
Well, she was just like, woman this attractive, like you have to show off,
There we are on our first date. Oh my gosh. So the date on that is May 29th. May 29th, 2020. So that is how we met.
But now I am not a schmuck, and we live in our dream house. And did you know? Okay,
he wasn't a schmuck before. You weren't a schmuck before, babe.
Yeah. Okay, I was the best man I could possibly be at that moment.
What Kenny does now, he has like 3 jobs.
To sum it all into one, I am mostly into sales. So I've always been in logistics, fulfillment, so e-commerce fulfillment, and I'm essentially helping one down south become a fulfillment center. So I'm introducing them to everyone that needs to know, and I'm also selling postage. So the mailman, essentially, I sell that to brands like Gymshark and things like that. I sell that as well. So I have a couple different jobs, but it all just sums into one full-time job.
What is Finley doing?
What?
Oh, look at Murphy's head. Look at Murphy's head in the viewfinder. Here, move.
In the what finder?
Head?
Oh, yeah.
What?
No one's here.
Look how cute Murphy is.
I know, sweetie.
Do you see his little head?
Yes, I see him. Got her a lot more into country. She dabbled in country music, but now it's like, she's like, can we put country on? Like it's...
Yeah, I used to hate country music. Now I love it.
It literally just like makes me feel so good knowing that she loves country now, because it's literally all I listen to. I listen to it in the gym. If I play any music, it's literally like Merle Haggard, George Strait. I'm not even kidding you. It's just what I like. I like being calm, and it's just soothing. I love sad music. Pretty much like all I wrote.
Yeah.
Right? It's either like a song about you or like
emo,
really...
like emo.
No,
emo country.
Good country music is very sad. And it's relatable. Country music is much more relatable than the music that you hear on like pop hit 100s or whatever the other music is, like hip hop and stuff.
Yeah.
It's not very relatable. Driving Bugattis and throwing bands at strippers is not relatable to a good husband or a good wife.
Yeah.
Right?
That's
I
right.
would never buy a $5 million car and throw bands at strippers. I would rather be on my couch, maybe a whiskey in my hand, and watch a movie with her. That right there is $5 million. Good night. Maybe our future. What you want to see for our future?
Okay.
One thing that we will get into is something called Freedom Horse Sanctuary, and that's something that's like our main goal. Like when we're done everything, this is like what we're going to put everything into. It's literally going to be a horse farm where we're going to find wild horses that got corralled by the BLM, which is the Bureau of Land and Management. Don't get that mixed up with
Black Lives Matter.
The Black Lives Matter movement. Not the same thing. But the BLM that we're talking about the government will buy up land and they will actually corral all of the wild horses, and they'll either sell them to slaughterhouses or they will sell them to Japan for meat. So we want to do our best to help bring those families back together. And that's just a big passion of hers. I love animals as well. And we want to buy as much land as we can right outside of Nashville. And we're literally just going to put a fence around, and we're literally just going to let these horses...
That is one thing that I love about Kenny so much is how much he loves animals, because that's like really big to me. And like how sweet he is to animals. Like not just our own pets, but like wild animals.
It's gotten worse since I met her. Because
He's
before,
so sweet. And I love it so much. Like he and I are trying to become like Mr. and Mrs. Snow White. And we're like feeding the deer now in our yard. And he's like super invested in our little goose, Wing Wing, that doesn't know how much we love him. But
yeah,
he's just a big, he's just like truly, he does give off like alpha protective energy, but he's also like just so sweet.
Yeah, so if you ever meet me in person, I promise you, I'm always aware of my surroundings. I don't know what could be coming in, and I'm a very protective man. I'm even protective, like when if we're hanging out with her and her friends, like I'm protective over the whole pack.
Yeah, he's
like I don't like.
But it's not like controlling.
No. Like I honestly like if someone bought Paige, if a man bought Paige a drink, I'd literally be like, well, that's one less I have to purchase. Like I do not care. But if her life is in danger...
That would never happen, though. Because I would never let another man buy me a drink. I'd be like...
Yeah. So I always want to try to control things that I can't control in a sense of like protecting her while she's driving or protecting her in those scenarios. So we're always trying to make sure her car's fine. Like we're always making sure like the house is secured. Always have a gun by the bed. Like we got to make sure that like my family is always protected. And so if we're at a bar, we meet in person, like I'm not trying to be rude or anything. I'm always like watching my surroundings, making sure that everything's going to be okay. And I'm honestly kind of a shy guy when I meet new people, which is in scenarios where like I'm meeting her.
Once you get to know him, once he's like comfortable and opens up, he's really goofy. And he's kind of like the class clown. Were you the class clown?
No, because I was very shy. What made me not shy was the elevator game. I still didn't want to be a shy kid, so I would literally like spark a conversation with somebody on the elevator. And that's what honestly got me to be able to speak to random strangers.
Yeah, he's really good at public speaking. He's always trying to help me speak better because I use like and all the time. And that's something I actually am trying to work on now that I'm like on YouTube. I just say like. Now that I'm on YouTube is my speech and not using like all the time and it's so hard. It is like second nature. Because I've never been in a situation where I have to speak like publicly or like online. Because I'm always behind the scenes, behind the camera. My job as a makeup artist is very like we're in the back. We're very like just doing our own thing. So now I'm getting myself out of my comfort zone and being more upfront, and I'm trying to speak better now. It'll take time.
Yeah. So pretty much she could have said that whole thing in about 4 seconds.
Also, my brain though. Also, I fight against my brain all the time.
Yeah, so I can tell you what's going on in her brain. And while she was explaining to you why she can't focus and why she's trying to work on her speech, is because she was looking at herself in the camera, seeing what she looks like. She's also thinking of what to say next. She's probably wondering why Finley's walking around and barking. And she's also wondering why Murphy's so cute and where Murphy's head went. She's also wondering what she's going to be doing tomorrow. She's probably wondering why I haven't made her a fire in the fire pit. Like, this is what goes on in this poor woman's brain.
As I'm trying to speak and say a sentence. That's
correct.
So true.
Yeah, so... And in the beginning, she thought I was going to be rude about it and say she's looking at herself in the camera. But what she is doing is that plus 4 other things times 14 is what she's doing while she's trying to speak to you. That's why she says and like, because she'll literally run out of things.
That's why it takes me so long to edit videos. I don't want to put up 40-minute videos. I would love to put up 20 to 30. Like that's like my sweet spot. But I've been hitting 40 minutes like my last couple videos and I'm like,
yeah. She slows her computer down.
I think you did a good job.
Yeah, it was a little drug on.
I can edit
Okay,
a lot.
cut it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm proud of you. You did it.
We good?
Yeah, I think we're good. Murphy. Murphy?
Okay, give me a kiss.
Hold on, wait, hold on. Murphy, come here. He's a good boy. Sit.
What? Sit.
Good boy. Wow, look at those big paws. Wait, hold on.
Wait.
Look at those big paws.
I gotta go see.
That is all. Thank you so much for watching today's video, and I will see you in the next one. I love you.